flouting city regulations, and hardball tactics that leave competitors crying foul. But the tactics that infuriated people also helped make Uber the world's most valuable venture capital-backed company, with a valuation of nearly $70 billion.
They took that aggressive Silicon Valley, we've got this vision, we want to make it happen, to that level where little too far, clearly. And that's what I think is finally has started to happen to them and is kind of blown up in their face.
Uber has been dogged by cases of insensitivity toward passengers who say they were victims of sexual assaults. Employees also accuse the company of indifference to sexual harassment within the workplace, something highlighted in a blog by former Uber engineer Susan Fowler. That spurred an investigation led by former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. He recommended, among other things, changing CEO Travis Kalanick's responsibilities. Kalanick took a leave of absence and shortly afterwards resigned.
The thing that was so disturbing about Uber's behavior is not only that these scandals kept happening and we kept finding out about these things, but no one was ever held accountable. No one was ever fired. But I can only imagine what would happen if my children started acting badly and instead of putting them in a timeout, I just gave them more sugar. I mean, which is essentially what was happening in terms of the escalating valuations and the escalating capital that these guys were raising.
Pando Media editor-in-chief Sarah Lacy has for years written about Uber's toxic culture. Her criticism even prompted Uber Senior Vice President Emil Michael, who recently left the company, to propose digging up dirt on critical journalists like Lacy and even their families.
Their plan was to try to, smear and destroy me professionally and personally in ways that would never be traced back to them. These are all really sort of creepy things. I mean, Oppo Research isn't Googling someone, we saw recently they had accessed health records of a rape victim and hoped to use those against her. Like, these are ugly, ugly tactics.
Uber has its hands full with other ongoing investigations. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating whether Uber used something called gray ball software to avoid law enforcement. And the self-driving car company Waymo, which is a subsidiary of Google's parent company Alphabet, is suing Uber over claims one of its former engineers stole thousands of secretive documents. Menlo Ventures was an early investor in Uber.
Yeah, I'm going to leave what Travis has said publicly, which is that I think while Uber is incredible in many ways, there's some aspects of their culture that they want to change and improve, and they've laid out a path, and I'm very optimistic that they will execute on that path.
Frankly, I'd be concerned about the 1,000 employees who just signed their names to a petition saying they wanted Travis back. That does not seem to imply this company wants change. And if the company doesn't want change and the board, who is still mostly stacked with Travis Kalanick loyalists, don't want change, it's hard to imagine how it's going to happen.
Names that have surfaced in conversations as potential replacements for Kalanick read like a who's who of the tech world. Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg, former Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer, and recently fired Ford CEO Mark Fields. Whoever ends up running the company will need to turn around company culture while also steering Uber toward that elusive initial public offering. Mark New, CGTN, San Francisco.